welcome to the show. I am so excited that we have an incredible guest today who has been through so much in her life. And she is going to be sharing some of her incredible OMG moments with you, both from her business and her life and things she has been through and how she has overcome, how she has downloaded some incredible things in her life. Dagmar Fleming, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tami. It is so exciting to be here with you.
Thank you. Well, tell us, let's start with one of your OMG moments. I know you have so many, and we got to pick one to start with, but what is an OMG moment you've had in your business?
My first OMG moment was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. I came to America from an ex-communist country, Poland. I was super excited about embracing free market economy and this individualism where I could be who I wanted to be and create the life of my dreams. So I was super excited about everything that I was creating in my life. I was working in international business arena, and I'll never forget the moment when one day, probably back in 2008, a client walked into my international business division and started asking me basic questions about creating global strategies, which for me was easy to answer. But then I found out that this lady was a consultant. And as I was listening to these very basic questions, I thought, if she can be a consultant and not even understand the basics of global strategy, then I probably would succeed by opening my own company. And so I did. So in 2010, I launched my global consulting company and really dove into that whole entrepreneurial journey.
It's exciting. And so leaving behind well, you still have an international business, it's just on a different level, but leaving behind the corporate international business, stepping into your consulting and your business that you do now. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, surprisingly, I'm actually no longer working with companies that want to expand into foreign markets because back in 2012, I had another OMG moment in my life. You'll probably see that my whole life seems like an OMG story. But as I was working on expanding into foreign markets, I realized that a lot of business owners that I was advising were not implementing the tactics that I was providing them with. And a lot of that had to do with their mindset. So I started wondering about what really drives an entrepreneur, what makes some of them successful, and why others do not reach the level of success that they desire. It really dawned on me in this, what some people call a divine download or a moment of intense inspiration, that a lot of our blocks, the reason we get stuck while creating our dreams, is that the events from our childhood, experiences that are negative, any wounds or hurts and memories that are haunting us, today influence how we show up in the world. And I saw energetically how we are stuck in that point of origin, in that story, in that moment of hurtful experience. And therefore, to protect ourselves and validate that experience, we do not create what we really want to create. And that was the beginning of my proprietary process called Triple Quantum Reset. So I launched another business called Unlock Your Success. And then that was my second step in entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah. Well, I always tell my clients, like, wherever you start is probably not going to be the same place you end up, right? When you get into the entrepreneurial journey, you start at the place you're at, you use the expertise you're at. And as you continue to grow, then you make some shifts and you make some changes and you have those realizations like you had, that it comes down to mindset of why these people are being successful. And so now you're able to help them with the mindset. And so that is amazing. Tell us maybe like 3 steps that you had to overcome and do in order to create these OMG moments to get your business going that you can share with our audience.
Absolutely. So everything that I teach now to my clients is something that I've gone through personally. Because as I hinted at the beginning of our conversation, Coming from an ex-communist country, I was imprinted with very limiting beliefs about wealth, success, and what I am capable of accomplishing. In other words, communism has given me this notion that poverty is a virtue, that struggle is revered, and everybody should just keep their heads down. So you're buying into mediocrity as a safe place. Unfortunately, these beliefs are highly limiting to a person who's trying to expand a business. Through the process of triple quantum reset, I had to dewire my brain. I had to really understand, why would I think this way about money? What kind of relationship do I want to have with money and success moving forward? And then give myself permission to let go of the past. So my encouragement to all aspiring entrepreneurs, and especially established business owners, is to take a moment and really dig deep into, what are your ideas about what you're capable of, what you're deserving of. And if some of your concepts are not supporting your vision, it's time to let them go. It's time to delete them. Hit that delete button.
Absolutely. I love that. I mean, so much to unpack there, but I love that you led with, you got to understand where it's coming from. You got to understand what you want your money mindset to be, and then give yourself permission. I think the permission is so much of what people miss when they are trying to make that shift. They're like, you hear people talking about, I want to make $1 million, I want to make 5 million, I want to do whatever it is their number is for them, but they haven't actually given themselves permission to actually make it happen.
Correct. And I love to share with my clients a simple exercise, which we do a lot of times in my Unlock Your Money Story masterclass or Triple Your Money Mindset workshop. Write down different income levels on a piece of paper and start with the first in line, so to speak. So if you're making 100,000 right now, perhaps put 250,000. As you glance at that number day after day, start understanding what emotional responses you have within your body and within your mind towards that number, because it will tell you what your preconceived notions are about that income level that probably keep you from getting there. Because let's face it, if this is your goal, you're not there yet. The reason you're not is probably inside your head. So we need to dig it up. Once you're comfortable with this number, because you digested every limiting belief and decided to rewrite it, write the next income level. What people don't realize is that we actually have multiple, what I call money ceilings. Each income level carries its own fear. Perhaps at $1 million, you mentioned so many people say, I want to run $1 million business. But as I interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs who were not at that level, they would say, I don't know how to deal with that much money. Will I have to have an HR manager? I will have a big team. I don't want to deal with team. I like very small teams. So this is all running in the back of their heads, preventing them from grabbing that opportunity. And again, unless you bring it to the surface and wash that dirty laundry, it stinks.
Absolutely. And sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. And so I love the exercise that you shared. And I want listeners, go back and do this. These are incredible tips and tools you can be using to help you overcome that money mindset, to help you get to that next level. What are the things that are coming up for you? Write that number down and feel it in your body, like you said, what's going on in your mind, what's happening for you, and start to work on each of those things individually. Because I think so many times people throw a number out there because they see somebody else said they need to make this, or, they heard that this is the number to be at, and it doesn't necessarily resonate with where they're at. There's actually scientific studies that show that we can only comprehend making about 50% more of what we were actually making now. If you're at 100,000 and you're saying you want to make $1 million, your brain can't actually comprehend that because you haven't been at that level. And so being able to chunk it down into some smaller chunks and understand what it is going to take to get there, and then that next level, and then that next level will actually help you get there faster. instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to, 10 times my business this year. Like, how am I going to double it? What's the first step I need to do to get there? And then taking some of those smaller steps. And I love that because it doesn't have to be about, like you said, do I have to hire an HR person or do I have to do this? It doesn't have to be hard sometimes, especially with the online businesses where you can create more income without having to increase a ton on the back end and the support for that. So thank you for sharing those tips. I love that. Tell us, what's one OMG moment you are looking forward to this year, something that you're going to do in your business this year, that you're stepping out and doing something new or something different that you're excited about?
Absolutely. I am really looking forward to leading women into leadership and into more of a role in a society where we show up as consciousness leaders. And what I mean by that, back in 2020, in the middle of pandemic, I had another OMG moment. I realized that there is a overwhelming need for women to come together and create a sacred space, a community where women entrepreneurs can embrace their personal growth, professional expansion, and also spiritual growth. Within that community, which we called the Athena Circle, we not necessarily focus on that 30-second pitch. We focus on how can we show up as a leader in my own business, within my family unit, but also community and society. Because I believe we live at the times that are very exciting, where we are awakening to higher consciousness. We are awakening to the power of mindset and thought in creation of our lives. And we realize that we have to come together as a community. There's so much polarization going on in a society right now, to the point where we argue with family members, we argue with our employees, with our partners. And if there was a space where we can come together as women, talk about challenges in business, about problems we may encounter in personal life, and talk about body, mind, spirit connection, which is a true holistic success, then we will become more powerful by coming together. Athena Circle has been a community that has been really active for the last 3 years. And now we want to take this message even more public. So I've been speaking a lot with the Los Angeles Tribune, Think and Grow Rich Institute, and many other platforms so that we women can unite and truly elevate one another.
That is amazing. I love that you are putting this platform out there for people to come together and create that community, because we all need it. We've talked about the importance of collaboration on some previous episodes, and how this is so key to being able to be there in a place where you feel like you can speak up, that you have a voice, that you don't have to argue with everyone there. Like you were talking about, we're in constant conflict a lot of times with other people. You have that space that will really support you in helping you grow. So I love that you have created that. I appreciate that. We will share some of the links in the show notes for you as well to get some information about that. And I know you have an incredible resource you're going to share with our audience. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you, Tami, for asking about it. I believe entrepreneurs are only as effective as the abundance, prosperity, and wealth they are able to generate, because most of us are in business because we're passionate about positively impacting others. And when we've got resources, monetary, financial resources, we can do so much. We can support the charity causes. We can expand our influence. So my passion since the inception of Unlock Your Success has been to help entrepreneurs break through their income levels that they are currently at, rebuild their positive money mindset, and truly drive growth towards quantum leaps and exponential levels. My resource, which you can easily get at the dagmarfleming.com website, is 4 ways your brain is unconsciously sabotaging your bank account. And that's coming back to the beginning of our conversation, where we talked about how a lot of these, what I call money allergies, unconsciously push away the very income and prosperity that we desire to create for ourselves and those we care about. So definitely jump in and start the journey towards unleashing the money making mojo within you.
I love that. You guys definitely go check out the link in the show notes so that you can download that. It sounds like an amazing guide. We will definitely be sharing that. I love how you called it money allergies. Like the terminology we use is so important. And I think when people think of things like, you're allergic to pollen or you're allergic to dust or some allergic to animals, they have a feeling of that resistance, right? I don't want to be around it. I don't want to be near it. If something does, I'm going to like get all teary-eyed and congested and all of these things. And so I love that you've put this term of money allergy into the terminology for this. Tell us a little
Well,
bit more about what that means.
absolutely. Well, everything that we create operates on the law of attraction. And for some people, it may sound a little bit metaphysical or woo-woo, but we live in a universe that is energy based. And we can go to Einstein E equals MC squared to know that, yes, absolutely everything is energy. And therefore, what we attract into our lives is the circumstance situation that is coherent with our vibration.
Mhm.
And what that means is that your expectation, your perception, your concept about yourself, what you're worthy of, what you're capable of creating, in return, by the law of quantum physics, attracts to you that which you desire. Unfortunately, when we are in fear of money, in fear of success, in fear of being considered an imposter and not being an expert, we put out the vibration of disempowerment, of what you call Tami resistance. And therefore, it's as if we extended one hand to the universe and say, give me, give me, give me. And the other one that says, I'm afraid, do not give it to me. Well, if you have two horses pulling the cart, one to the left and one to the right, how far do you think you will get? Until we bring all of those horses, which means our emotions, our mindset, and our actions, into coherence with the direction in which we're going. Unfortunately, if we cannot do that, we'll continue to be stayed put. We will be like that cart with one horse going to the left and one going to the right.
Yes. I love that analogy because we all do it in different ways. You're like, I want more, I want more, I want more. But then there's the other side of you saying, no, I don't. And I see this with some of my clients at times. They're like, I want more clients, I want more clients, I want more clients. And we were just talking to a doctor or one of our clients the other day. And he's like, I want to bring in, 10 new patients a week. And I can see the resistance he also has in the push of not wanting to do things differently and not wanting to change and not wanting to hire more staff and not wanting these other things. And I'm like, you can't have both. We have to get to that middle ground of what is going to make the most sense. And so I think that is helpful in understanding, so many times we say we want it, and we got the hand out like you were showing. The other hand's like, no, stop. I don't want this because it's going to create more problems for me and I'm not ready for those things. So how do we find that alignment and getting to that place? So I love that. Definitely go check out the guide. Dagmar, this has been such a great time talking to you and hearing about some of your OMG moments. I know you have so many more. Make sure you go check her out on her website. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tami. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Awesome. And for those of you who are listening, make sure you are taking steps every day to create that OMG moment in your life. So today we talked about your money mindset. So where can you take a step in your money mindset? You can go get this guide that Dagmar is sharing with you. And how can you make sure that you don't have this resistance to making more money in order to get to the level you say you want to get to? I hope this was helpful for you. Give us a like, you like this episode, and be sure to share it with a friend who needs to hear it as well.